Hey everybody, your favorite granny is back. Hey everybody, if you do not know who I am, hey, this is Elegant Granny, your restoration strategist and your creator and host of the Proactive Eye podcast. On the podcast, we discuss intimate partner violence, also known as domestic violence, child abuse, sexual assault, sexual violence, and we also talk about suicide prevention as it relates to abuse. While I'm talking about the podcast, this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And that also means that the podcast is now 3 years old. 3 years old. I started in 2019, I think, October 2019. And this marks year 3. And during this transition, I've learned a lot doing a podcast, and I'm so glad that I finally did one, because I have been wanting to do one for years. And in 2019, I finally transitioned to a point where I grew into the confidence in going ahead and pushing that button and just going ahead and doing my first episode. And I have not looked back since. I love it. I really, really love it, because it helps me to create content for people who need it. I get to not only share my story, but I sometimes share stories and observations of others, what I have observed in supporting people, what others have observed in supporting others, and what I am going to start doing in year 3. I have not done an episode since early part of this year, I think, because the way my transition was working, it wasn't enough time to do any of that, like anything social media. No, it just was not happening. So, but being that I'm almost back to the point where I can do everything I need to do social media wise, so everybody can get the content that they need, I'm going to start having guests. So if I start emailing you or sliding in your DMs or whatever like that, asking you if you would like to be a guest on my podcast, to share your story or share your experience of being a supporter of someone in either one of those topics, whether it's domestic violence, child abuse, sexual assault or violence, or helping to prevent someone from dying by suicide because they were in an abusive relationship. If you have your own, whether it's your own experience or your experience of supporting somebody, yes, I would like for you to be on the podcast and have you as a guest. So, Proactive Eye is 3 years old. Can't believe it. Does not seem like it's been that long. So, what I love about the podcast, I love being a podcaster, because you can just share anything. You create your content. You create your identity. You create your audience. You actually build your audience. And I do have a great, audience, listening audience. And it's about to take off because I'm making some changes. And I'm pretty stoked about it. I really, really am. Proactive Eye. This is year 3. Just wait till you see her in year 5, because it's going to be a grand occasion in year 5. I'm really going to actually do a celebration. Speaking of celebration, Elegant Granny in January will be 10 years old. I'm pretty stoked about that too. I'm still in the works of coming up with some ideas of what to do to celebrate 10 years. I really am. So, I'm thinking of hitting up some of my underground cohorts for this. I really am. I have quite a few of them, and I'm thinking of hitting some of them up because they have been a great support system for me dealing with all of this. They really have, and I want to honor them by including them in on the celebration, because without them, Elegant Granny would not still be here. She wouldn't. I've had quite a few people to help me. So, with that being said, I'm just going to focus on all of the achievements of Elegant Granny with the podcast and with just life in general, because I learned just as much as I have taught other people. I have learned a lot, and Elegant Granny and the podcast are morphing. They are morphing. And I think I said that in one of the first two lives on this 2-week challenge. I don't remember which day it was, day 1 or day 2, but they are both morphing and evolving, and it's time to show where they have grown to, because they have mastered some skills and they have gained some skills, and yeah, it's time to work with those, because now it's just time to not be stagnant and move. And whenever that happens, it's time to start moving with the transition, flowing with it. Change happens. It's inevitable. And if you are not willing to grow, hey, don't look for anything to really happen for you. So you have to be prepared for it. And so one of the things that I'm doing is I am going with the flow. I'm moving with it, because I see now, if I do not, they won't be as successful as I have already foreseen them be. And I don't want to be held accountable for that. Because this is the thing. Me, the way my life has been since childhood, even, and this is another day. I'm going to have my mom on with me one day when I could do a live to talk about my conception, because even that foretold how my whole life was about change, and how I had the ability, and I demonstrated all of my abilities and talents and gifts on adapting with those changes. Because had I not, I would have miscarried. Had I not, I would not have been able to walk. Had I not, I would not have been a source of helping to protect my sisters when we were younger. Had I not, there were plenty of opportunities where death would have carried me to the other side, but it did not, because I chose to flow with change. And so I'm documenting some things and chronicling some things, because yes, that story will be told. Those stories will be told at some point. But I want to stick with transitioning with the flow of change today. Why it's so important. Because like I said, had I not, all of those things I mentioned before would not have happened. My business, I would not have existed as long as I have. Elegant Granny has actually been underground the first several years. She's about to come to the surface, showing some buds. Yeah, she grows like a tree. Her roots grow like tree roots, you know. So that's the reason why I haven't been doing as much as people think I should have, because first of all, no one was giving me the vision for Elegant Granny other than me. People have speculated, but they did not know what she was about. So when next year comes, when we get into next year, you will begin to see why it took so long before I actually started doing some things. I needed to be fortified because the way I was taught as a child, and I hung out with all the elders. It was rare you ever saw me around children unless I was tending to them, helping the adults take care of them, because I'm the eldest of a lot of grandchildren, a lot. So with me, and this is, I will be mentioning this on another video, probably another live, how I am now worked from mental health and spirituality to now to the next phase that I've transitioned to, which includes financial health, my fiscal health, and my physical health, both of those. So now that's where I have transitioned to. And also Elegant Granny is transitioning at the same time, and also the podcast is transitioning at the same time. So it's a lot going on. I told y'all it was a lot of transitioning going on at one time. It is so many. So I had to be mindful of my pace in everything. So I hope this live has encouraged you some way. If it has, leave me a comment. For those of you who are coming to the replay, thank you for dropping in. Thank you for listening. Leave a comment. Let me know that you were here. Thank you all for your support and your patience. And just look out for 2023. I'm telling you, don't sleep on a granny. Just because she hasn't said anything don't mean she don't know anything. Just because you haven't seen any action don't mean she's not working, because she working. Okay, y'all enjoy the rest of this Sunday, and I will talk to you later. Peace.